Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of science fiction and how you can encourage science fiction in schools. So when you see any science fiction inspired inventions in the history, you can see these three words clinging on to each other. The first one is imagination. It's a kind of superpower what we humans possess. Only a few people can really push their imaginations to the limits, and they can actually come up with a concept which can be practically applied to the current world. And they share their concepts to the world with the help of fictionalized materials like books, movies, articles, concept art. And a few people get inspired by these books and movies, and they can create a real technology which can match what the author thought, the science fiction author have thought in his book. And that part is inspiration. Now I'm going to show you famous inventions from the past, present, and the future, which comes along with these three words. This is the past. Arthur C. Clarke, a famous author who wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey. Here he imagined the concept of geostationary satellite, which he wrote an article, a science fiction article in a magazine, Wireless World, which inspired an electrical engineer from Hughes Aircraft Company, who created the prototype SYNCOM 2, as you can see in the picture, the first geostationary satellite, which is the base of your GPS. And this is Gene Roddenberry, the prophet of science fiction. He created lots of imaginary concepts which innovated lots of scientists. Here is Dr. Martin Cooper, who created the world's first mobile phone from the Motorola Corporation. He himself told that the only inspiration was the Spock, the Vulcan communicator, as you can see there. The next is the evolution of iPads. The first visual iPad was conceptualized in two movies in 1960s. The first one was Star Trek in 1966, and 2 years later, Stanley Kubrick visualized it in his 2001: Space Odyssey, conceived from Arthur C. Clarke. And this created a wildfire to create such a device. Lots of companies came up with lots of concepts. Intel came up with PDA, and it was not so successful. Finally, Microsoft was able to produce the tablet, and now iPad. And this is the present. Present is everything about interfaces, cool interfaces like Iron Man Jarvis and lots of things. So this is one of the greatest 3D holographic visualization from George Lucas in his movie Star Wars. Now, many ad companies has come up with plans to create 3D virtual billboards to advertise and get money. And this is one of the concepts. It's Activate 3D, which is not exactly a 3D holography, but at least an illusion for now. This is the most popular one. Tom using his computer with help of gesture control glove. This is now inspired by Google, and it's been under research in their research labs. And this is my favorite concepts from the sci-fi, which we can expect in future. The first one is anti-aging. It'll be a great breakthrough. See if you can extend your life, or you can reverse your life. You can stay young forever. This could be useful in space travel, where humans can take long life to explore planets and other extraterrestrial places. Next one is cryosis, serving the same purpose, where human body is preserved in a cryos condition where the metabolism is ceased. This concept has been shown clearly in the 1960 movie 2001: A Space Odyssey again, and other lot of movies. And the next is wireless power transmission, which has already seen a lot of breakthroughs, and NASA has already a science fiction concept where you can transmit power wireless with the help of microwaves from the space. The next is artificial photosynthesis. This is already done, but still scientists are gaining knowledge from the science fiction books to integrate it in the spaceship hydroponics. And talking about spaceship, these are the three famous, most common version of science fiction used. The first one is corporate. Many corporate companies, including Intel, they use the method of future casting to actually create a sample group from the population of consumers to come up with science fiction needs so that they can implement it in their device, and they can make their device look like a sci-fi gadget. They can attract more customers. The next is the space fiction. In this, DARPA is doing a great work. Most of its projects are from science fiction books, directly from science fiction books. And now they are working on a 100-year Starship study, which is initiated 3 years before, and it's a great success. Lots of science fiction discussions, Lots of famous authors have discussed concepts, and lots of engine concepts have come. One of the greatest concept was proton-antiproton engine and annihilation engine, which can be used for long-term spaceship travel. The next is, I gotta say, it's a con of sci-fi, because we started with stones, bow and arrows. Unfortunately, now we have Mark V hypersonic railguns, and thank God goodness we don't have lightsabers yet. It will be chaos. And I have a message from the future now. So how we can encourage science fiction from kids, because we don't have a school version of sci-fi. Students, they have the youngest minds, and their mind is at the stage of development, and they need an exposure to science fiction. They deserve the taste of science fiction so that they can come up with a lot of concepts. For example, when you give a kid a small paperclip, he can imagine a lot of things, and he can come up with a lot of ideas. He can convert it into a spaceship, or he can convert it into an automobile. So school kids, they deserve it. Here's a message from the future.
Hello ancestors, seems a great day here at TEDxCoimbatore. I'm Captain Cole Walker. I'm from the year 3015 with a message to you all. This spaceship under my command now is a result of your science fiction ideas from the DARPA's 100-Year Starship Study Project and many other fictional works of great authors from your time. Thanks to you ancestors, and I owe you a few ideas. It's all about the word science fiction, how it fueled young minds' imagine. How can you encourage sci-fi literature in school level? The answer is simple. Blend with the mind. Younger ones are most capable of imagining unusual and unique concepts, as their minds would be at the developing stage and would show a great potential in thinking beyond the limits. All we gotta do is to fuel them. I'll tell what we did here. We took the liberty to modify all our ancestors' fantasy tales with an overlay of science fiction. We also reconstructed a few plots without losing its gist, to blend within the intellectual of the lower grade kids. Surprisingly, these stories made them to think beyond their ability and insisted them to explore the possibilities of the concepts. We encouraged concept art, short stories, articles, and more. Young students came up with intriguing fictional concepts and project ideas. Their ideas and concepts were published. We created an online repository of mind-blowing and crazy ideas imagined by the younger generation. The repository was a success, and to highlight, our unity reflected strong, as all the ideas and concepts are published free without any copyright restrictions by the creators. Our world is entirely different from yours now. Why don't you try it? Try encouraging fictional literature practices from the school level. Motivate the students to write their own fiction and reward them equally. I bet you'll find their enthusiasm level blowing the roof. I believe you can make a change. I will return to the timeline often. Have a great day.
Live long and prosper. Goodbye.
So I do believe we can bring a change. We could encourage science fiction.
Thank you.